I'd like to take you on a journey back in time to an era when this great state of Queensland was a mere infant, to a time when men were particularly tough and women were the tenacious battlers keeping families together while surviving the Outback. In the 1850s, Queensland was emerging as the engine room of primary production in Australia. But the gold rush came not from the ground, but on the backs of sheep and the huge herds of beef cattle. Out west, about 1,000 kilometres from here, is a place known as Australia's El Dorado, or Land of Gold. And we're going there right now. We'll travel over territory explored by the likes of Landsborough and Buchanan to a region which is full of surprises. We're heading out to central western Queensland and what might be one of Australia's best-kept secrets. It's a place called Aramac. We're going to the west of Queensland to a place with an amazing history, a history almost forgotten, to a place of beauty. We'll see the real West on its own terms. Well, we've landed in a piece of country paradise, just a little bit off the Wallaby track. G'day, Bob. How are you?
Hey, how you going?
Good. Nice of you to pick me up. We're heading into dinosaur country. We'll travel a vast country where prehistoric creatures once roamed, where bushrangers ruled the plains, and even the legendary Breaker Morant got up to some mischief. Well, this is Aramac, probably one of Australia's most fascinating but little-known places. Just ask the locals.
Aramac is a great place to live because you can never get lost.
I love Aramac because of the wide open spaces.
Aramac has a colourful history and one that should be told.
Yep, this is Aramac. Let's take a look around. Over the next hour, we'll discover one of Australia's best-kept secrets, a place with a fascinating past and a bright future. We'll go from the age of the dinosaurs to the dream time and finish with the West of today. Aramac Mayor Bob Marshall has kindly offered to show us around.
We're pretty proud of this area we have here, and I'd like to welcome you and look forward to showing you around for the next 2 days. Well, okay, let's go and have a look.
This region of Western Queensland is a treasure trove of natural beauty and an important part of our Australian history. The Aramac Shire was the place where the most complete dinosaur skeleton ever found in the world was discovered, not by a scientist, but by a farmer. This character has the rather fancy name of Muttaburra langdoni. He gets the first part of his name from this place. This is Muttaburra, and this is the man who gave the dinosaur its name.
I found the dinosaur while mustering cattle down along the Thompson River there on the Eastern Channel. I rode past him, and when I looked down I could see that there was uniformity in the bone work or whatever it was there on the ground. So when I rode back and had a real good look, I could see all the, what I reckon was parts of a backbone, very big. So I put a couple of bits in my saddlebag. When I got home, I sent them down to the museum. They thought for a start that he was part of the iguanodon family. They really didn't know what he was. Till such times as when they were working on the head, they got the sandstone away from the head, they drilled it away, and they ran onto the bulb that was on the nose. That's when they realised that we had something special, that he was, you know, he wasn't a normal, as they knew, a dinosaur, and hence then we got Muttaburra langdoni.
Many thousands of years ago, Aborigines inhabited this area, and researchers believed that they used this as a meeting place. This is the man to tell us all about them. G'day, Tom. What can you tell me about these carvings here?
Okay, we've had some scientists up from the Melbourne University. They tell us most of it's around 10 to 12,000 years plus, and it's different to a lot of other sites because it's virtually all birds, animal tracks, also a lot of tracks that's, there's nothing walking the face of the earth today. There's dinosaur tracks here like at Winton. A little bit further along we've got a full story on the six-toed footprints.
Six-toed?
Yeah.
Can we go and have a look at that?
I think we should. Yeah, here they are, just right here. The story was that it started little tiny footprints, all got 6 toes on them. They go right through up there. Where the feet are reversed signifies the death. And then underneath is the totem or the spirit of the emu, comes right back round to the full circle, back down to where I'm standing here is where the little tiny baby footprints were.
It seems the footprints tell the story of the circle of life. What became of these people isn't a pretty story. Not all of the history around here is about great people and great deeds. In fact, some of it is pretty ugly. This cave was the scene of one of the many tragic incidents in our history. Following a series of altercations between whites and natives, a local squatter took matters into his own hands. In a largely lawless frontier society, revenge can be devastating.
Gordon chased a mob of blacks from around the country, and they all raced into this cave that was known out at Grey Rock. They went in, and Gordon sat down at the front of the cave with a couple of men that he had with him and waited, and the blacks didn't come out, so he went to explore why they didn't come out and found that the blacks had gone out through a hole in the roof. The next time he rounded up the blacks, Gordon left a couple of men at the front of the cave and climbed up onto the mountain. As they came out, shot them through the hole at the top of the thing. I couldn't say how many he shot, but he shot quite a few of them.
I found used bullets in the vicinity of Gordon's cave at Grey Rock, and they were muzzle-loading .58 caliber mini balls.
One positive thing to come out of the Gordon's cave killings was the introduction of native police to Queensland in an attempt to bring law and order to the outback.
They split up. 2 went that way.
Massacres like this were given innocuous labels, such as dispersing the natives. But the end result was always the same, and there's no pretty word to disguise genocide. Aramac was pretty well the engine room of Queensland's development. In the early days, it was known as Australia's El Dorado, or land of gold. But the gold wasn't in the ground, it was on the top of it.
Well, Aramac was named after a former Queensland Premier, Sir Robert Mackenzie, one of those dour Scots, as they say. He was a bankrupt who went on to become the colonial treasurer, and then, of course, he became the Premier for around about 18 months. He eventually lost the premiership through a vote of no confidence. Aramac is, in fact, made up from his initials that were carved on a tree, and one of his explorer mates, Lansborough, came along and they turned it into Aramac.
The pioneers found vast, fertile grazing lands with abundant water, just right for primary production.
In Aramac, in its heyday, the railway used to take the wool away from here, and up to 9,000 bales a month used to go out through the railway station here in Aramac. Like the stations of Bowen Downs, 40 and 50,000 sheep.
Bowen Downs in those days was huge. It stretched for 30 miles north of us here to 110 miles south, so 140 miles of country to police, and it was too much really to keep an eye on.
Oh, they had their own baker and their own dairy like that. And then there was like the cowboy, the cook, the housemaid, and then they had about 5 or 6 jackaroos on Bowen Downs in those days. Old James Conway Langdon wouldn't let a jackaroo come to the table unless he was dressed in a coat with a tie on. It was a real class distinction in those days.
People had out here, pioneers, had very little to work with. They didn't own very much, and they had to make use of every single thing that they had. Tins were made into dressing tables. Everything was recycled.
And grandchildren of the pioneers still live in Aramac.
My grandfather was the founder of Aramac, and I'm the only surviving child left of now. I was one of 9 children in the family, and we've lived here in this house with no mod cons in those days, no electricity, and we used the old flat irons on the wood stove, as you see.